Do you feel like you're being controlled without knowing it? It's a powerful tactic called gaslighting, inspired by Denzel Washington's wisdom. In this video, we'll reveal 8 clear signs that someone is manipulating you. By the end, you'll have the tools to stop them and protect your peace. Stay tuned. This could change everything for you. 1. Recognizing the bad ones through their daily actions. There are moments in life when we must confront people who are not our friends, colleagues, or loved ones, but rather those who have malicious intentions. These are the people who wait for the perfect moment to drag you down while you're trying to rise. They won't necessarily show their true nature right away. Instead, they hide behind a mask of false kindness, insincerity, and flattery. At first, they may seem like trustworthy friends, reliable partners, or even mentors you admire. But if you're not careful, if you don't look closely enough, you'll be easily caught in the trap they've set, all without realizing it. Remember, beautiful words don't reveal the true nature of a person. It's their actions that speak volumes. A promise can easily be forgotten, but actions never lie. The bad ones are experts at using words as tools to gain trust. They'll say what you want to hear, pretending to care and respect you, making you feel valued, making you believe that they are your true friends. But behind all those sweet words lies emptiness. They simply want you to trust them so that, when you're not paying attention, they can use that trust for their selfish gain. Look closely, not just at their words, but at their actions. Because it is their actions that will clearly reveal who they really are. When their words don't align with their actions, when they promise one thing but do the opposite, that's the first sign that you're dealing with someone who shouldn't be trusted. A person may commit to loyalty, but when an opportunity arises, they'll easily betray you without hesitation. This is a sign of dishonesty, an indication of an unstable soul, a person who is solely driven by self-interest, with no regard for integrity or kindness. So how can you recognize such people? The answer is simple, yet difficult. Pay attention to how they treat those who cannot give them anything in return. A truly good and trustworthy person will treat everyone the same, regardless of social status or the relationship they share. They will never look down on a servant or someone in a lower position. On the other hand, the bad ones reveal their true faces when dealing with those who are weaker. They may act polite and cheerful with those who can benefit them, but when faced with someone who offers no gain, they will show indifference, or worse, act rudely, condescendingly, and even try to crush them. It's through actions like these that you can recognize who they truly are. Don't rush to admire someone just because of their compliments or sweet words. Let your eyes see what they really do when no one is watching, when there's nothing to gain for them. That's the truth. And if you refuse to see the truth, if you continue to believe in the beautiful facade they've built, you will soon find yourself tangled in a mess of lies and hurt. Don't let your trust become a weapon for those with malicious intent to exploit. Stay alert. Learn how to recognize these people and walk with confidence. Because once you've seen through a person's true nature, once you've spotted the inconsistencies in their words and actions, you'll have the strength to maintain your distance and protect yourself. In life, there are those who will do everything to bring you down, to make you doubt yourself. But if you're strong enough, if you're wise enough to recognize them, you'll always stand tall. 2. How these people treat the vulnerable. In a world where it's sometimes hard to tell who's a friend and who's a foe, the people around us can wear perfect masks, hiding their dark motives deep within. They seem kind, caring, even making you feel like they're your closest friends, the ones you can trust without a doubt. But behind these actions, behind those sweet words, lies a truth so dark that only those who are truly perceptive can recognize it. This is why it becomes more important than ever to spot the signs of someone untrustworthy. And one of the clearest signs you should watch for is how they treat those who can offer them nothing in return. When you witness someone treating people in lower positions, like service workers, cleaners, or those who can't offer any material gain, it's a moment that should make you pause and reflect. The bad ones will never show respect for those they deem beneath them. They won't show real care or courtesy to people they think have nothing to offer them. Instead, they will display contempt or, worse, treat them as if they don't deserve any respect at all. You may think these are small, insignificant actions, not worth paying attention to, but these details reflect the true nature of who they are. Bad people can rarely hide their dark thoughts when dealing with those they can't exploit. This is when their true face emerges. This is not just a warning about how they treat others. It's also a sign of how they will treat you in the future. If they can easily ignore or even hurt those who can offer them nothing, then when the opportunity arises, you won't be any different. Don't ever think you can change someone like this. They will never change unless they want to. Bad people will always try to make you believe that you can change them. But with more chances, more love, and more care, they'll become better. But the truth is, they will just exploit your kindness, and in the end, you'll be the one who pays the price. Your kindness, your trust, your compassion are not things to be given away to those who don't deserve them. You don't need to try to change people who don't want to change. Don't let yourself get caught in their game, because when you do, you're not only wasting your time, you're hurting yourself. The bad ones will make you feel like you're lacking love and care, but the reality is, it's they who are lacking character and kindness. And no matter how much love and kindness you have, you can't change that. So how do you protect yourself from people like this? The answer isn't easy, but it can begin with a small shift in how you see things. First, learn to recognize the red flags as soon as they appear. Don't let yourself get caught in relationships where you're the only one giving without ever receiving. Don't let feelings of inadequacy or fear of loneliness make you an easy target. When you feel emotional deprivation, don't rush to find it in people who don't truly deserve it. Remember, respect, honesty, and genuine care must come from both sides. If someone is only using you, they will never care about your feelings. Secondly, learn how to let go. Letting go is not giving up. It's a deep understanding of your own worth. You don't need to hold on to a relationship simply out of fear of loss. If someone truly cares about you, they won't make you feel like you have to constantly chase after them. A relationship should never be a burden or a battle. It should be a partnership, a voluntary sharing between two grown individuals. When you learn to let go, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more importantly, you won't allow the bad ones to exploit your kindness anymore. Finally, always remember that you deserve to be treated well. You deserve to be loved and respected. You are not the object of selfish people's manipulation. Your goodness isn't for them to take. It's for sharing with those who truly value and love you. And when you learn to value yourself, you'll know how to recognize and stay away from those who don't deserve to be a part of your life. Be your own protector. Don't let the bad ones destroy your trust and happiness. 3. Deception and manipulation. In the complex web of relationships, there is a subtle, dangerous tactic that the bad ones use to manipulate and control others, and that is psychological manipulation, also known as gaslighting. This method is incredibly harmful because it doesn't touch you physically, but instead, it invades your mind, making you question yourself. These toxic individuals will twist the truth, making you feel as though your emotions and thoughts are no longer trustworthy and that you're the one who is wrong. They will say things like, "You're being too sensitive," or "I was just joking. Why are you overreacting?" These words are not just lies. They're a way for them to force you to change your perception of a situation, to alter your feelings and reactions to what's happening. Gaslighting not only confuses you about what's going on around you, but also undermines your trust in yourself. You begin to feel uncertain about your emotions, unsure of your thoughts and decisions. Questions like, "Am I overreacting?" or "Am I misunderstanding everything?" start to flood your mind. And when this happens, you begin to feel powerless, lost in situations that you once could navigate with clarity. What makes this even more dangerous is that the manipulator doesn't just play with your emotions. They aim to make you feel dependent on their judgment. They try to create the image that they're the only ones who can guide you, making you believe that you cannot make the right decisions without their guidance. Over time, You become someone who constantly seeks validation from them, someone who is afraid to make a mistake without them by your side. In that moment, you are no longer yourself, but merely a shadow of who they want you to be. This manipulation strips you of your autonomy in relationships and in your life. You become someone who lives in a constant state of uncertainty, unable to distinguish between the truth and the distortions they have created to control you. When you realize you've fallen into this trap, it feels as though you're being pushed into darkness, where you can no longer clearly see what's really happening. So, how do you protect yourself from this manipulation? The key is to stay alert and hold your ground. If you begin to feel doubt in situations where you once felt completely confident, that's a red flag. You must remember that your emotions and thoughts are valid and reliable, and you don't need to change yourself to fit someone else's evaluation. Once you recognize this manipulation, you will have the strength to expose the deceit and protect yourself from their negative influence. Always trust yourself, for honesty and self-respect are the only strengths that can set you free from this control and manipulation. 4. Irresponsibility. One of the most dangerous traits of the bad ones is their ability to shirk responsibility. They never admit their faults, never own up to their mistakes. Instead, they always find a way to shift the blame onto others, dragging those around them into the chaos they've created. This is a cunning tactic they use to keep themselves safe while continuously causing harm to everyone else. When things don't go according to their plan, instead of facing the truth and taking responsibility, they turn their back on it, as if everything is someone else's fault. It is this avoidance of responsibility that makes them masters at evading the truth and at lacking sincerity. This isn't just a surface-level action. It's a deeply manipulative form of control. When someone constantly blames others, they not only refuse to admit their own mistakes, but also make you feel like you're the one at fault. They create an atmosphere of confusion and insecurity in you, making you question whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're truly to blame. When a person never takes responsibility, they don't just leave you feeling bewildered. They also diminish your sense of self-worth. You start doubting your abilities, and this can cause deep emotional damage. These blame-shifting words, whether soft or sharp, are like small stones that gradually weigh down your confidence and stability. The bad ones will never accept when they're wrong, because they know that acknowledging their mistakes would damage the image they've carefully constructed. To protect themselves from failure, they won't hesitate to criticize, to blame others, even those who have nothing to do with the issue. This is how they create a manipulation cycle, pulling you into a world where you constantly feel responsible for problems you didn't cause. They will convince you that you're the one who's in the wrong, while they stand on the sidelines, maintaining their safe position. So, how do you deal with people who always try to avoid responsibility? The key is to stand firm and recognize the truth. When you realize that someone never admits their mistakes, you'll understand that there's nothing more to discuss. Don't let their blame shifting make you feel like you're the one at fault, because you can't change what has already happened. The only thing you can do is hold on to your values, stand your ground, and refuse to let anyone redefine who you are. You don't have to carry the burden of someone else's mistakes. And once you understand this, you'll feel a sense of relief, freedom. That feeling of freedom comes from no longer being bound by unjust blame, no longer being dragged into a negative situation or relationship that isn't your fault. When you let go of these unearned responsibilities, you will step into a healthier life, where you only answer for your own actions, not for the mistakes of others. 5. Those who keep others living in anxiety and doubt. In life, there are people who, when you're near them, make you feel a vague sense of unease, like a cold breeze brushing past you with no clear source. They don't need to threaten or criticize you outright, but they have a way of making you feel like every action you take is somehow wrong. This is one of the most subtle tactics that the bad ones use to manipulate you, creating anxiety and doubt in your mind. They don't directly attack. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt, making you question yourself. Am I doing something wrong? Am I really good enough? Over time, this feeling erodes your clarity, leaving you lost in your own decisions. These people know that uncertainty is a weakness they can exploit to control you. Whenever you start feeling confident in a decision, they will skillfully throw out questions or vague remarks that force you to reconsider. Questions like, are you sure about that? Or do you think that's the right choice? Slowly build confusion, leaving you spiraling in doubt and insecurity. But it doesn't stop there. They'll also make you anxious about things that shouldn't matter, causing you to lose control and always feel like you're standing on the edge, unable to step back. The bad ones are masters at creating mental contradictions, making you lose your sense of direction. Every time you start doubting yourself, they will appear as the solution, always ready to offer advice that, in reality, is just a subtle form of control. They make you believe that only by following their opinions can you find certainty and safety. And like that, you become their puppet because you've lost your ability to trust yourself. What's most dangerous is that these people not only make you uncertain about decisions in the present, but they also leave lasting psychological scars. Slowly, you begin to lose faith in your own judgment, and each time you have to make a choice, you'll seek their validation. You're no longer yourself, but someone who lives in fear, always worried about making mistakes and disappointing others. So, how do you deal with people like this? The answer lies in staying alert and decisive. Learn to recognize the subtle signs of this manipulation and remind yourself that you deserve respect and to listen to your own voice. Don't let anxiety and doubt cloud your ability to make judgments. When you start trusting yourself, when you're strong enough to stand firm in the face of their vague questions, you'll realize that you can be confident and in control of the situation without needing anyone else's interference. Let yourself live freely, no longer a victim of the psychological games that the bad ones have set up. 6. Those who harbor jealousy and envy. Jealousy is one of the darkest emotions a person can feel. The bad ones, though they may appear kind on the outside, are often unable to tolerate the success and happiness of others. They don't just envy what you have, but they want you to feel like you don't deserve it. This is the essence of jealousy. The satisfaction and happiness of others becomes a threat to their own inflated sense of self-worth. These individuals not only want what you have, but they will stop at nothing to bring you down, making you feel like you don't deserve the success or achievements you've worked so hard for. Jealousy isn't just a simple feeling. It's a dangerous mindset that can infiltrate every corner of the heart. The bad ones will never let you be at peace when they sense you have something they don't, whether it's a career, love, or happiness. They don't just quietly envy you. They'll plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you question the value of what you've achieved. A careless comment, an action that undermines your success, or so-called advice that is really just an attempt to diminish you. All of these are tactics used by envious people to make you feel undeserving. You've probably experienced moments when, after sharing good news or success in your life, you're met with unsupportive looks or comments that seem full of concern but actually carry an underlying sense of doubt. These people can't celebrate your success because it serves as an undeniable reminder of their own shortcomings. They won't congratulate you. Instead, they'll try to diminish the value of your achievement, making you feel like everything you have is simply luck, not the result of your hard work. So, how do you deal with these envious individuals? The key is to clearly recognize their fear and insecurity. Those who envy you are actually struggling with their own battles. They fear they can't achieve what you have, and instead of learning from you, they choose to bring you down to feel secure in their own self-worth. This is why they can never truly be someone you can share joy or success with. With these people, you must learn to build emotional barriers, refusing to let them affect your confidence. Your success and happiness are not their concern. You deserve everything you've worked for. When you realize this, you'll no longer feel anxious or insecure whenever someone tries to make you feel unworthy. You don't need to explain yourself or prove your worth to anyone. What you have is the result of your own effort and perseverance, and that is something no one can take away from you. 7. Those who can't keep their word. One of the most crucial traits of the bad ones is their lack of sincerity. They don't keep their promises, fail to honor their commitments, and constantly leave others feeling uncertain. When someone can't keep their word, when they repeatedly make promises that they never follow through on, you start to feel deceived. This lack of trust not only causes emotional pain, but it also erodes the bond between you. You begin to feel that all your sacrifices and efforts are in vain because you can't predict what will happen next, and you can't be sure if they truly want what's best for you. This is especially dangerous when you don't recognize it from the start. In the beginning, these people may be very charming, even persuasive, making you believe that they are trustworthy. However, as the relationship continues, you start noticing inconsistencies in their words and actions. They might speak convincingly, but when you need them the most, they're absent or fail to follow through on what they promised. It's this inconsistency that will leave you feeling lost, doubting not just them, but even yourself and those around you. A lack of trust doesn't just make you feel confused, it starts making you question other relationships in your life. When someone is unreliable, everything around you becomes uncertain. You no longer know who is truly genuine with you and who is just taking advantage of you. Love, friendship, and cooperation all need trust to thrive, and when that trust is broken, everything begins to fall apart. So, how do you recognize and protect yourself from those who are untrustworthy? The answer is simple. Never lose trust in yourself. When you feel you can't trust someone, listen to your inner feelings. Anxiety, worry, and disappointment are signs of insincerity. Have the courage to face the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Don't cling to relationships that aren't worth your time, because when you allow dishonest people to remain in your life, you not only lose trust in them, but also in yourself. 8. Those who drain you physically and mentally. Entangled relationships. The bad ones don't just hurt you emotionally. They have the ability to throw off your entire life balance. We often think that when a relationship is problematic, it only affects our minds and emotions. But the truth is, these wounds can spread, impacting both your physical and mental well-being. When you get caught up in the manipulative games and cunning schemes of these individuals, you not only feel drained emotionally, but you also find yourself exhausted, lacking the energy to face other challenges in life. This imbalance doesn't happen suddenly. It's a slow process, step by step, gradually wearing you down until you don't even realize how tired you've become. You might not notice it right away, but after being in a constant state of manipulation and pressure for a long time, you start to feel trapped in an endless cycle with no way out. The things you once enjoyed no longer excite you, and you lose the motivation to work or take care of yourself. Negative feelings begin to fill your entire mind, and you lose control over them. You may notice that the joy you once had in life is slipping away, and your exhaustion, both physical and mental, keeps growing. When the bad ones disrupt your balance, you start losing control over your emotions and thoughts. Your mood swings from moments of happiness to despair, and you begin to doubt yourself. You feel worn out even when you haven't done much, and your relationships start to feel strained. This doesn't just affect your mental state. It also triggers physical reactions in your body. You may have trouble sleeping, feel distracted, or even suffer from constant headaches. All of these negative effects are not random. They're the result of letting yourself be controlled by people who don't deserve your trust. The bad ones will keep creating turmoil in your life. Every day, you wake up to face new questions and awkward situations that have been set up, making it impossible to maintain peace of mind. Over time, you'll realize that you're no longer yourself. You no longer feel the freedom or peace you deserve. Instead, you live in a constant state of worry, always anxious about what's coming next. Every decision, every step you take feels like a burden. So, how can you regain balance in your life? The answer lies in staying alert, recognizing and cutting off unhealthy relationships. You need to reconnect with yourself, rediscover the things that made you feel happy, at peace, and confident. This can start with small changes in your daily life, like taking time for yourself and learning to love and care for your own well-being. When you realize that you deserve a peaceful life, you'll regain the energy and motivation to move forward, leaving behind those who have caused you to lose your balance and happiness. As we wrap up today's video, remember that your peace of mind and well-being are priceless. Recognizing toxic people in your life and understanding their manipulative tactics is the first step towards reclaiming your power. Inspired by the wisdom of Denzel Washington, who always emphasizes the importance of inner strength and motivation, don't let anyone dictate your worth or happiness. In every relationship, be it personal or professional, always value yourself and set boundaries that protect your mental and emotional health. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are worthy of healthy, empowering relationships. Keep growing and stay motivated.